All right, Morgan, Nation, you hear the music. It's time for the Rodemnation Rewind.
We completely let them off the hook, and magically he has absolutely nothing to say. How could they possibly understand courtside Karen? My Rodemnation this week goes out to Secaucus, New Jersey. And you may be saying to yourself, Secaucus, New Jersey, what's that? That is the site of the NBA's official video replay center. Anytime a game goes to a video replay in an NBA game, the guys in Secaucus are the ones making the call. And we have to do something about this situation. It's getting absolutely out of control. I was watching the Mavericks-Celtics game, and there seemed to be a video review every 3 minutes of real time. The video reviews were taking 5 minutes of real time. So the last 2.5 minutes of that game took 20 minutes to play. There's just dead air. Announcers have to fill. The momentum is dying. You can't imagine what would be happening if the crowd was at a fever pitch and then these delays come in. So that's no good for anybody. We have to do something about these video replays. We have players on the court all the time. Anytime they're called for a foul or a foul's not called against them, they do the thing where they wave their hand above their heads, telling the coach that they have to do it. And we've gotten to a point where now coaches literally have to do the video replays because their star player is the one who waved their finger. And if they don't, they're going to think they're disrespecting the guy. The video replays have gotten out of control. I'm all for getting the call right, but there's also something to be said for human error. So the video replays have to be one guy. He looks at it, makes the call, and then we move on. We can't look at it 6 different ways and have 3 different people weigh in before we then relay it back to the NBA refs in the arena who for some reason have to walk over to a table and put on headphones and watch a different screen. We don't need any of that. Just have the boys in Secaucus look at it, tell the PA announcer tells the refs, we move on. Video replays have to get shorter. All right, so there's been some talk floating around on the NBA Twitter sphere all week long, and certain of the NBA illiterati have weighed in on potentially changing the NBA logo from its current form, where we all refer to Jerry West as the logo. But if you ever actually ask the NBA their official position on the logo, they would say, no, it's not Jerry West. It's just a generic NBA basketball player. Kyrie Irving floated, let's change the logo to Kobe Bryant. Now, I admitted earlier that I'm not a big Kobe Bryant fan, or Kyrie Irving fan, not a big fan of Kyrie. So take that for what you will. But I do believe we should all follow one path in life. And if Kyrie Irving says we should do something, go the other way. So we cannot absolutely, under any circumstances, have Kobe Bryant be the logo. As much respect as I have for Kobe as a basketball player, and as much respect as I have for how hard he worked at his craft in the NBA, you make Kobe Bryant the logo, and Denver, Colorado immediately comes up, and the NBA they can't do it. They can't do it. What did or didn't happen, we're not going to litigate on this podcast, but you just absolutely cannot have the logo be Kobe Bryant because of the Denver, Colorado situation. So then you also would have to ask yourself, why are we going to Kobe Bryant? Why are we passing the all-time greatest winner in NBA history, Bill Russell? Why are we passing Magic Johnson? Why are we passing Michael Jordan? Why are we not going to make it LeBron as soon as he retires, because he may retire with every record that exists in the record book? So, no. NBA, continue to have your official position of a generic player. If you want to change the logo, make it an absolute generic player again. Or, here's a better idea. Everybody stop talking about it. Do not change the logo, because logos are everything, and you have a very recognizable logo, and you are the second most popular pro sports league in America. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if Kyrie Irving says go one way, go the other. That's this week's Rodemnation. I am using that as the frame for my Rodemnation this week to the ownership/management of the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if this is more of a Bob Myers call or if this is more of an ownership call at this point. You hear an awful lot about Joe Lacob out there, but the Golden State Warriors' hubris and ego and pride is failing them right now. They love to do interviews on podcasts and magazines and tell you how smart they are and how much they want to be the new San Antonio Spurs and how much they are going to buck the trends and show everyone that you can win with a current expensive core while bringing up a young, cheap core pay them, and then you can hand the baton off seamlessly. That does not seem to be working out for the Golden State Warriors. The number 2 pick in the draft a few years ago, Jameis Winston.
Yes.
Wiseman,
Jameis Winston.
excuse me. James Wiseman has just been sent down to the G League. He's giving you absolutely nothing. When you bring in Jonathan Kuminga, things get bad. Jordan Poole doesn't seem to be adjusting very well to his role off the bench. Klay Thompson, who you're holding on to, I guess, out of thank you, Klay, for everything you've done for the organization, seems to be better suited to be the sixth man. Jordan Poole seems to be better to be starting, but Golden State is still not doing that. Jimmy, am I being too harsh on the Golden State Warriors, or do you see a little bit of my point here that pride seems to be altering the trajectory of this championship-ready team? All right, I don't understand how you put out the statement that you put out saying you fully back your coach and you fully back your general manager before the season starts, and then 7 games into the season you decide, nope, sorry, all that was a complete lie. So I have no idea how we're supposed to believe anything that you say about your organization ever again. You put that out to try to tell the NBA and your fans and the media and all of the above that we're looking in on your situation all the time, that we are not allowing the players to drive what's happening here anymore. And lo and behold, the coach that Kevin Durant wanted out, the coach that Kyrie Irving has never respected, got bounced, and Sean Marks, who has ties back to the San Antonio Spurs, just like Ime Udoka has ties back to the San Antonio Spurs, sells to their owner, no, don't worry about all of this mess and all of this baggage and all of these things that we see going on with the New Jersey Nets, and we'll see how I did it again, the Brooklyn Nets, and we'll see how much we get into it. Don't mind all of that. This is our elixir. This is the magic beans. Oh, also, never mind that this man just took another team to the finals last year, but then did something so egregious that they decided he could not coach their team, but no, we'll hire him 2 months later because none of that matters. Let's not even get into any of that. None of that matters because you have just been proven a complete liar, and you have no standing with your own team. Joe Tsai, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving are running this franchise, and they're going to run it into the ground much the same way the Los Angeles Lakers are being run into the ground by LeBron James, because players need to play and not run everyday operations for an NBA team. I'm sorry I took up a lot of time. I'll sit back. He's been a source of Rodemnation for me for a long time, but I continue to just be baffled by the whole entire situation. Ben Simmons, you're Rodemnation once again, my friend, because you sat out for an entire year with a myriad of different things. I guess I'm not allowed to question any of them at this point, right? We're supposed to believe you did have a back injury at some point. We're supposed to take your mental health completely seriously. We're apparently supposed to take yours more seriously than any other athlete that's ever played professional sports ever in the history of the world. We're now not allowed to hold you to any expectations after you took an entire year off to come back. We have to counter in the rust that you feel from sitting out an entire year, but we're not allowed to yell at you about the year that you set out because you basically chose to set that out. You showed no responsibility whatsoever for your time in Philadelphia. You blame others for all of your problems. You talk about it's the media that's coming down on you. You now have Kyrie Irving, one of the worst spokespeople in the entire world, is a spokesman on your entire side. And Jimmy, those stats you read for Kawhi Leonard, I would imagine that Ben Simmons's are even lower than that. At one point after 3 games, I believe he had more personal fouls than points. I mean, this guy's paid $34 million to play basketball, and we're supposed to just give him credit for being aggressive and setting a couple of back screens. Jimmy, what am I even allowed to talk about with Ben Simmons? Are we now not going to be allowed to do this podcast because I just said that? Yes, thank you, Jimmy, for allowing me to unburden myself with something that just really gets me going when I hear about it throughout the course of a week in the NBA. And post-game press conferences, I understand, are a bit futile, a bit stupid. You have players basically coached from an early age now to learn how to not say anything. But every once in a while, these guys are just so unaware, just so self-absorbed that they just utter things at these post-game press conferences that just make me just blow my mind. And I'm looking at 2 particular gentlemen this week who uttered some things at post-game press conferences that just made me be like, you really have to be kidding me. One is Kawhi Leonard of the Los Angeles Clippers, who in a post-game press conference had the gall to say,
I want to be playing. I want to be out there. I'd love to be playing 35 minutes a night, but the doctors won't let me. Kawhi, please, please, after all of these years with San Antonio and then Toronto and now all these years in Los Angeles, you expect us to believe that it's been doctors telling you the whole time and not you telling the doctors sort of what you want to do? Come on, Kawhi. You can't say something like that. And then to top that, Kyrie Irving, the man who I have a lot of vitriol for so often, and I've left him alone for a little while, has the gall to stand up there in a post-game press conference and say, no more distractions the rest of the year. We're all about basketball. When we don't have distractions, we can play good basketball. Are you looking in the mirror when you say this, Kyrie? The reason the Nets have had distractions is because of you, my man. So there's one person and one person only that could keep the Nets from having distractions, and that's you. So make sure you took a tape recording of yourself saying that in a post-game press conference, because I have a sneaky feeling that in 4 or 5 weeks we're going to be talking about your ass doing something dumb and causing a distraction for the Nets. But you just told everybody in a post-game press conference, no more distractions. That's my Rodemnation this week.